Sir William Osler writes, "The good physician treats the disease. The great physician treats the patient who has the disease." This is Mark Holland, Archivist of the McKinley Presidential Library Museum, and we as a museum want to show our support to the people in the medical world who are fighting COVID-19 and treating the patients as well as the disease. Today we present to you part 2 of a series on Mercy Hospital. We want you to know the origins and the contributions of our local medical personnel. Mercy Hospital, Part 2, 1911 Building through the Market Avenue Wing. With the completion of the 1911 building, the McKinley House was once more converted, this time into what would become known as the Mercy Hospital School of Nursing that had been established the same year as the hospital. By 1926, the question that was uppermost on Rosa Kloe's mind was, will this wonderful opportunity for service be allowed to expand? In 1927, Dr. and Mrs. H. M. Schuffel presented to the Sisters of Charity their home at 215 15th Street and Logan Avenue Northwest, with the stipulation that the house was to be used by the sisters for children. The Little Flower Hospital for Children was born. There were 25 beds with this new satellite building, and with the conversion of a garage in the back of the house, the Children's Hospital had a large ward for contagious diseases. A campaign was started to raise funds for the second building that would be connected to the first. Among the marketing for the fundraiser was a small 20-page pamphlet that contained statistics and photographs to raise the awareness of how congested the 1911 building had become and how there was a need for an expansion. On June 4, 1929, ground was broken for the second building to be built where the McKinley House sat on North Market Avenue. The crowds that attended the groundbreaking stood where delegates from all over the country stood during William McKinley's 1896 presidential campaign. In 3 months, the cornerstone was set in place and was planned for the new wing to open the following year on July 1, 1930. One obstacle that stood in the way of this plan was the McKinley House itself. It was cut into 4 pieces and moved to Meyer Park in the southwest end of Canton. The house was then reassembled on Park Avenue. The plan was to convert the former residence turned hospital into a shrine to President McKinley. The new building was completed, and a plaque commemorating how the McKinley House once stood where the new Mercy Hospital building now stands was attached to the building. We have that same plaque to President McKinley in our permanent collection at the museum. On August 1, 1938, Rosa Lange Kloe passed away in the hospital she had built, which had become her primary residence. She was laid to rest in the St. Peter's Cemetery yard on North Cleveland Avenue. During the Thanksgiving of 1947, Jim Fisher of Canton, Ohio, who had relocated to Detroit, Michigan, was flying in to Canton to have dinner with his mother. His 14-year-old brother-in-law, Patrick Ross, was with him. Jim fully intended on landing in Canton before dark, but ran into weather, and he was barely able to see any lights. He crashed into a gas well derrick, and his plane went straight down. Young Patrick was able to crawl out of the wreckage, but Jim was trapped. Patrick went for help, but he had difficulty finding the crash site in the storm. By 9 p.m. that night, Jim was wheeled into Mercy Hospital, where interns and 6 staff specialists treated his multiple injuries through x-rays, surgery, and casts. Jim reported that he will fly again. By the late 1940s, the Sisters of Charity were looking toward another expansion. This time they would go outside the downtown area to a piece of ground located on the northwest section of Canton, on 12th Street near Harrison Avenue. To be continued.